There is another red flag about bad relationships, or better said, dangerous relationships, that you need to look out for. And this red flag, I'm certain when I say it, some people would say, Rashid, that's not a red flag. But let me explain. When you are involved with someone, it doesn't have to relate to the sexual. When you are involved with someone and you can only see them in a positive daylight without any challenges, then something is wrong with that relationship. Look, even if it was Christ himself that walked on the earth, you would realize he's Christ, he's God. And you would also realize that because he's God, he's resisted by demons. So being around him implies that there are challenges that you will face because the enemies of Christ will also target you. So Christ, when he walked the earth, people knew it's a challenge to walk with him. Now Christ is resurrected, he's in the heavens, and we are his followers on the earth. And he told us, his followers, that we will suffer persecution for his name's sake. So with Christ, it's no fairy tale honeymoon. And even in fairy tales, there are challenges. For example, you have to kiss the frog, which is quite a gross deed. You have to kiss the frog to get your prince. So even in fairy tales, you have a challenge. I'm not talking about someone being toxic or someone being haunted. I'm not talking about that. Even if someone is walking in complete holiness and righteousness, they will still face challenges in this lifetime. So whenever you encounter someone, you must both see their potential and the challenges. If someone is an unbeliever, you must realize, okay, they're unbelievers, they're operating in pattern cycles, so where are the demons? Where are the perpetrators? Where are the enablers? If it's an unbeliever, you need to know those things also. If someone is a believer, you need to realize, okay, they are a believer, they may have safety with them, but that safety will be challenged by people that are offended by their safety. So anyone you encounter will have some challenge that you'll have to put up with when you're involved with them. Everyone. Even a small child. A small child cannot harm you. But that small child is someone's baby. And the parent of the baby may be a target. So if though that child cannot harm you, who the child is associated with can bring a challenge to you. Look, I'm being practical here. A baby can never harm you. A little child can never harm you. No, absolutely not. But they are a target of contention too, unfortunately. That's how pathetic and stupid the world is, that they even target children. So understand, in this world, during this lifetime, anyone you encounter, there will be some challenge you'll have to face because you are involved or associated with them. So, when you encounter someone and you can only see the potential and you feel so excited about the potential that you can't see the challenges, I'm telling you, that relationship is likely demonically orchestrated. Let me tell you why. When you can only see potential and you don't notice the challenges that come along with the potential, you will invest because you only see potential. And your investment is based on a false basis. The false basis is that you'll never face difficulty with this individual. And that's your expectation. You want someone where you will never have difficulties. And here's the thing, the individual himself or herself may not be difficult. But just because someone is not the problem doesn't mean that they won't be troubled. Someone can be the nicest and most kind individual there is, and they'll still face challenges because that kindness irritates people. Yes, there are sick-minded people out there who are annoyed and offended by your kindness. and they will seek to attack your kindness. So, whenever you're involved with someone, there's always a challenge. When you only see opportunities without a challenge, that relationship will go wrong. Why? Because you're investing in a false basis, namely that with this individual, everything will work out smoothly and you'll never face any discomfort. And what happens sooner or later? Discomfort appears. And when discomfort appears, you'll think it can't be because of this relationship, because there's so much potential in this individual. So now you are in self-doubt because you invested your all in this relationship, and now you think, how come? There's only potential here. So if there's something bad, it must be from my side. And now you will do your best to fix. And here's the thing: if there was only potential, then why are you facing difficulty? But at the time, you're so invested that you just want it to work. That's how you're sucked in and you're drained. In some cases, it becomes your doom. That's how many people died. Due to homicide, because they were lured into toxic and dangerous relationships without them being aware of it. Why? Because those toxic and dangerous relationships began very good. There is nothing wrong with relationships starting off good. Okay, let me say that so it's clear onto you. There is nothing wrong with relationships starting off good. There's nothing wrong with meeting new people and being excited to see them again. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as your rationale or your rationality is still working, that you can see, okay, it doesn't matter how great or how awesome this individual is. It doesn't matter how anointed they are by God himself. There will be challenges I need to face being involved with this individual. The moment you can still see that there are challenges, you're thinking in a healthy way. When you only see difficulties or challenges with other people, that's depressive. And you need help if that's the case. But if the opposite is true, that you only see potential, that's equally bad. There are too many people out there who end up being killed, or they end up in jail for something they didn't do, or they end up in very dark places because they only saw potential. That's why sometimes it's good. I said sometimes it's good to listen to what strangers have to say. Look, the potential you see may be true. You're not dumb, you're not imagining things, you're not delusional. The potential is there. But with the potential comes risks, comes challenges. And it can be that you're so focused on the potential that you don't notice the challenge. And it can be that you're talking with a stranger and the stranger realizes, okay, something is off here. For example, it can be that you have this new business partner and you're about to export to, let's say, Uruguay, for example. And you talk with a stranger about the potential, and the stranger, who happens to be a grad student in economics, listens to you and he agrees with you. It's great potential, it's a good opportunity. But that individual also knows that in Uruguay, there's a lot of corruption. So you can be set up by the authorities over there. That's the challenge that you didn't see. And this individual tells you, okay, great that you have all those plans and ambitions, but also pay attention to this and that. The individual is not undermining you by reminding you of the challenge. They're just pointing out to you, you need to consider this also. Someone that undermines you would either just get along with your excitement, and they will keep their mouth shut just not to upset you, or they will just break down your excitement, just feel good about themselves. Where someone breaks you down, just feel good about themselves, to shut you up, they want you to shut up because they want control, but that's someone that's violent. Such an individual is a coward and just want to control you to feel good. Now that's bad. That's obvious that that's bad. But the other individual will just get along with your excitement without mentioning the challenge because they don't want to upset you. They're equally bad as the individual who wants to control you by shutting you down. Someone that's naturally concerned with you, they will mention or at least hint to the challenge. Any relationship where you can't see the challenge is a bad relationship. And that relationship is likely to go sour and become dangerous. Don't you know that there are many women out there that ended up in domestic violence situations because of this? Don't you know that there are children growing up in abusive households because the parents got together, but none of them were prepared to deal with the challenges? And now the children and the community are suffering because of it. So now we have children growing up with traumas. Children were likely to become infested with demons or bad relationships later in life. This is not just about you. It's also about how you impact and affect the community around you. It's very important for you to examine the relationships you're in. That is your responsibility, to examine them. And when you see that something is out of line, in the sense that it's dangerous, you need to get out of it. That is your responsibility. And the responsibility of the community towards you is to keep you in check, in the sense that when they see that you're being negatively affected by a relationship, they point it out to you and they hold you accountable for leaving or not leaving. That is what the community ought to do. The community shouldn't blackmail you by telling you that it's your fault, this and that. They shouldn't use violence against you, but they should make it difficult on you in a constructive way to provoke you to leave bad relationships. Look, as a community, we are responsible for one another, because we either enable or disable evil in our communities. It's very important for us to recognize traps for what they are. Any individual you get involved with has some challenge that comes along with them. I'm not talking about their emotional and mental baggage. If someone has emotional and mental baggage, they need to look for help to be delivered. That's their responsibility that they need to do. And it's your responsibility to be constructive in their life, to enable change for the better. That's your responsibility. So both parties have responsibilities and obligations towards one another. Understand that if you feel or you sense that in a relationship there are only opportunities, then that means you're being scammed, you're being deceived by demons. God himself told you that following him, which is the best thing you can ever do, will bring challenges with it. So if even involving yourself with God himself will bring challenges in this lifetime, how can you seriously think that you can be involved with another human being without any challenge? God himself, who's eternally stable, who cannot be harmed by anyone, involving yourself with him will bring challenges with it, and some of those challenges may include persecution, affliction, and victimization towards you. And God's very clear about it, so that you will have the right expectations. So if following God himself will bring challenges, how can you seriously think that being involved with another human being won't bring any challenge? And here's where the whole myth of the twin flame or the soulmate or Mr. Right or Miss Right or the right woman or the right man comes from. People want a sex partner where they will never face any challenges. And that does not exist. It does not exist. When the Most High created Eve, Eve was a challenge for Adam. There was no danger, no sin, and no evil involved, but Eve was a challenge to his masculinity for the good. Because Adam, as a male, is quite heavy and intense, and Eve is the one that softens his emissions. So Eve is the transmitter of his masculinity. So that's a challenge for good. So male and female relationships, so relationships between the opposite sexes, are meant to be a challenge for good, not for bad. So even if the fall of man never occurred, any human being you would encounter would include a challenge. A challenge for the better. A challenge to life. Satan gives you a challenge unto death, in which you have to prove yourself and endanger yourself to be accepted. In God's kingdom, all challenges are for life and abundance. So, human relationships that exclude challenges are not natural. If you see any relationship out there, whether it's a sexual relationship, or it's a business relationship, or it's a small community, any type of relationship you see out there that's without any challenge, it's a demonic operation. It's a scam. I'm telling you. So, always agree with Christ and be at peace.